is John Grignon. I'm Logan's uncle, and I'm a forester and a logger and mechanic.
All right. First question is, what is forestry?
Well, forestry is the woods out in the forest, and probably one of the better definitions for forestry would be a method for managing forests to prevent old growth and help new growth grow, and it's to be this good stewardship in the forest.
Alright. Well, second question is, what does a forester do?
Well, a forester will go out and cruise a woodlot and to see if the wood needs to be harvested, if it's old growth or thinning or trees that are dying, and so they would mark trees that they would want harvested by a by a logger, and also they look for brooks, water crossings, and swamps, anything like that, so you can make skidder roads around them or put bridges in, because the BMPs is very important in the woods, and what that means is better management practices and to take care of the land.
Well, third question is, what made you want to be a logger or a forester?
Well, I kind of grew up as a logger. My dad was in the logging when I was a young fella, and I always went to the woods and worked with him in the woods. I hardly ever missed a day in the woods when I went in school, and I started going into the woods when I was 5 years old, and so I've done it all my life. I even worked in paper mills for quite a few years.
Well, next is, how much money do you make in a day, like a typical day?
Well, typically you make about $500 a day. It all depends on your knowledge, your skill, how much you work, how many hours you work, and stuff like that. You know, you can make a lot more money, but you got to take and subtract for your equipment and your repairs and all that. So around $500 a day is a good number.
How many logs do you collect in a typical day?
Well, a log can be anywhere from 8-foot logs to 16-foot logs, and I can cut up to 100 in one day. It depends how big they are and what species. So I can cut 40, 50 trees a day on an average.
Alright. What are the tools you use normally?
Well, I use a chainsaw. This is one of them. I got 4 of these. I got 2 this size and 2 bigger ones. This one here is almost brand new. These saws generally last me 2 years. A helmet. I go through one helmet a year regardless of the condition. I just buy a new helmet every year automatically because safety is priority, and so I always buy a new helmet every year. This one happens to have a radio in it, and some of the other tools is we'll show you them in a few minutes. All right, now this is a skidder right here. This is what you use to haul your trees out with. This is one of them. I got 3 of them. And anyway, in the back here you got a cable hooked onto the trees. You got all these here to hook on each tree. You got a chain like this for each tree. And you got wedges like this to get your trees over with that, and a hammer. And I also carry a wedge here, and I got a tape measure here that's 50 feet long that I measure my logs with. And and this over here is a pulp truck. This is what we use to haul the wood to the mill with. And this truck here is an old truck, but it's in good shape, so that's what I use to make my living with. And a typical day for working in the woods is 10 to 12 hours. Some people put in less, some people put in more. It all depends.
All right. Well, what's your biggest piece of machinery?
Well, I got skidder. This is actually a small skidder compared to nowadays, but this is the biggest skidder I got. And then I got this truck. And I don't do, I don't cut trees with a mechanical. I use a chainsaw. And they call us conventional because we still do it the old way from back in the 60s and 70s.
Right. Well, you have your own business. What made you want to start your own business?
Well, I just wanted to be on my own and work for myself. And I worked in the paper mill for 25 years, and towards the end of my 25 years, the last 5 years, I started working in the woods again. And I just accumulated so much work working in the forestry field and the logging that I decided it was time to retire from the paper mill and start my own business.
How old were you when you started logging?
I started logging when I was a kid.
Like
Then I
your
went to work in a paper mill when I was 23, and I worked there for 23 years. And so I started working for myself basically when I was about 46 years old.
How many years have you been doing it? So
I've been doing it now steady, full time for the last 4 or 5 years.
and how many more do you plan on doing? Like how many more years do you plan on
I will
logging?
probably work until my health won't let me. I could be 70, 65, I could be anywhere around there.
Well, do you enjoy this? Do you like doing it? Or?
Oh yeah, I enjoy it because I enjoy being out in the woods and it's quiet, peaceful, and it's what I enjoy doing.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun is it? The fun scale.
Well, cutting wood can be a lot of fun, and as long as you don't get into a lot of issues with breakdowns and stuff, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 8.
All right. Is logging mostly like physical strain or mental strain, or is it both?
It can be both if you're managing your own business, as far as the bookwork goes, and then physical, it can be pretty hard on your body if you don't do it correctly.
And the last question is, are there any limitations to your personal and or social life? Like any limitations to it?
I would say no, because if I want to get done work early to go do something in my personal life, I'm my own boss, so I just get done when I want. If I want to work a half a day, I do. I got boys that go to school, and I go visit them and go to the tennis matches with them and everything. So there's really not much for limitations.
All right, thank you.
Now I'm choosing the tree that I want to cut, and basically I've already thinned this whole area out, and so they grow faster. And actually I see a tree right now that's actually dead, and so we'll cut that down. And you look at it, and it's dead. I never even realized. I get a couple here. So I'm gonna cut this tree, and I'm gonna use wedges and do directional felling. And I am CLP certified, which is a certified logging professional in the state of Maine. I've been certified for 10 years, and it just makes you more aware of the right way of cutting trees down and taking care of the forest. tree is so rotten that this here is how we tip a tree over. The tree totally rotten. It's not. If it was cut 5 years ago, it'd still been usable. Now it's not usable. So, but that's how you cut a tree down. And you always wear helmets, face shield, earmuffs, safety clothes, safety pants. Because the chainsaw will cut you. Be careful.